Let's bring in ABC News contributor, former CIA field operative Darrell Blocker for more. Hi, Darrell. So President Trump had previously urged Israel not to strike Iran. Now he's calling this attack excellent. Why that change?
The change is, quite frankly, the decision was taken out of his hand. Israel had to do what it felt that it needed to do in order to remove the threat, which is, of course, a lot closer to Israel than it is to the United States. So the president is supporting an ally, saying that it was excellent in its execution. Its focus on the major threats, which are the nuclear missiles, and of course the mullahs and the generals who run those services.
The Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the U.S. wasn't involved in the strikes against Iran, but a source says the U.S. did provide intel to Israel. So where does this leave U.S. relations with Iran, especially amid nuclear talks?
So the intelligence exchanges between services is a constant. It goes on forever. Yes, there are highs and lows, but the exchange of intelligence between Israel and the United States isn't a secret to anyone. I believe Secretary Rubio was specifically speaking to the United States did not have a decision or did not have a vote in what was launched yesterday, but intelligence exchanges are normal and constant.
Now, a source also tells the U.S. That Israeli intelligence agents were in Iran long before this attack. How challenging is it to pull off an operation like this? And what does this show about Israel's capabilities?
The complexity of these type operations are just immense. Exponentially difficult, of course, to move around in places where they're actually looking for Iranian spies. But Iran and Israel had a long relationship together up through '79. They do have exchanges on treaties and things like that. So the Iranians and the Israelis know each other. At the United Nations, they're alphabetical order, so they sit next to each other. They don't want to, but that's the way the UN was set up. But yes, this is very complex, and Israel has proven time and time again that it can strike surgically against those threats that they most fear.
The State Department is forming a Middle East task force now to possibly evacuate Americans from the region. How difficult is it to get Americans out safely?
Diane, I don't think it's as difficult as, yes, it's more complicated and more immediate than it was 24 hours ago. But the evacuation of bases, the drawdown in embassies is something, sadly, that our diplomats and soldiers have been used to since 9/11 primarily, but for many years.
All right, Darrell Blocker, thank you.